Good morning, folks. How's everyone doing this morning? Me, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Fell asleep earlier than usual yesterday, like around, must have been like maybe midnight, probably before. I don't even fucking remember. I just remember sitting on my computer and I was like looking at the floor. I was like, I feel like laying down. And that's what I did. And I put videos on and I fell asleep. And I woke up, it was still dark outside. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. It was just about, if not just a little after. It was dark out. I'm like, oh God, they're going to be talking about setting the clocks back sooner or later. Fucking with time and shit. You know, like they do all the time for whatever strange reason. Who knows why they do it? I don't know why they do it, but they fucking do it. Nonetheless, bastards, stop fucking with shit. Leave things alone. Anyway, so I was like, fuck, what am I gonna do? And, you know, I do business stuff. It's stuff for business. That's what business stuff is, obviously. Stuff for business. Anyway, and then I was done with that, so I was just like, fucking bored. Do some stuff. Waiting for parts to come in so I can fix my phone because it's broken. And I can't use it to make phone calls or anything. It's just aggravating as hell. You know? Nobody wants that kind of fucking issue or problem. Is why I have this idea to fix that issue and problem. I'm not going to tell you what it is right now because I'm not going to tell you what it is right now. It's my idea and I'm not sharing it yet until, you know, I've made like a prototype or some shit. And I can be like, oh, look at this. And, you know, I have like some corny ass cheesy skit that I'll perform, right? You know, and you'll be like, this is so like infomercial-ish. Yeah, that's what it's gonna be because I want you to like see how this innovation that I'm thinking of would affect your life and bring benefit and value to your phone. You get what I'm saying? Like benefit and value. Benefit, value. When you're thinking about any product, it has to have benefit and value. There's just no benefit or value. There's just no point in buying it. I don't give a fuck how much it costs. It could be 5 cents. It's a waste of 5 cents. There's no benefit and value in the 5 cents that I'm spending. God damn it. There should be benefit and value all price ranges, or there's no point. I see some people spend a whole bunch of money on stuff, like lots of money, and they think that just because they spent lots of money, that means that whatever they have has benefit and value. No, it has what's called bragging rights. Bragging rights do not necessarily whatever the word I'm trying to think of right now. Translate, yeah, there we go. It doesn't necessarily translate to benefit and value. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, whatever. It's like spending a whole lot of money for a knockoff, right? It's the counterfeit, but you don't know that. So you spend that money because, you know, shit, if I spend a lot of money on something, that should mean something, right? Yeah, it should, but it doesn't. It just means you're a little bit more broke than you would have been if you just spent money less on something with more benefit value. And it's not like I'm telling you fucking people anything that you don't already fucking know. So don't be in the comments talking about something like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? I already fucking know. I know you know. I'm just talking shit. It's called chilling with Omen. You know, you're chilling. This is like what we would do if we were sitting here, you know, one another chilling same space, and we would just be talking about whatever. So, you know, it's what it is. Just talk about whatever the fuck comes to mind and shit. And if you're wondering what's here in the background, you should already know by now. If you don't know, now you're about to find out. You didn't have to fuck around to find out either, so isn't that like a good thing? It's just like, don't fuck around, but you still find out, right? It's cool. Is then you don't have to fuck around. And that's a waste of time fucking around and have to find out some shit when you could just find out right up front. You know what I'm saying? Like, wouldn't that be a better way of life being lived by most people if they didn't have to fuck around and find out? Just think about it, right? Like, here's my version of not having to fuck around and find out by just finding out, right? Walking down the street, you're thinking about fucking around and punching this dude in the face for whatever strange reason. And you would otherwise find out what would happen to you if you did such. But what if you could find out without even having to fuck around? Like, boom, this dude just walks up on you, BAM! Punches you right in the face, right? BAM! For what you're thinking. Like, it'd be like a special power. It'd be like a special power. Like a reverse superhero power, because obviously getting your shit smashed in on a regular basis wouldn't really be all that cool as a superpower. So it would be an anti-superpower, right? You walk down the street thinking about what you could do or would do, and then you'll find out what's gonna happen. Nobody would want that power. It'd be a terrible power to have, you know. I'd be mad if I had that power. Or maybe I wouldn't. It all depends. Because I don't be wanting to fuck around and do some dumbass shit to find out the consequences of that. So maybe if I did have to find out before you fuck around thing, I could always be thinking about like some ill shit, right? Some ill shit that's not gonna lead to me getting punched in the fucking face. So that way, right, I could just be finding out without fucking around. Like, I want to find out what would happen if I grew like 1 million peppers in the mountains, right? Like, you know, and then I'll just find out. I won't have to fuck around and waste the time, because that's a lot of months to have to fuck around with some shit to find out that it doesn't work, right? Like, so if I could just find out off the rip, bam. See, then it wouldn't be anti-superpower. It would actually be a superpower, like, as long as you use it for good reasons. But of course, you know, people being what they are, they try to use it for other dumb shit. And then that's when they would find out, you know, in a bad way, like what would happen to them. And, you know, they would probably cry about it. And that's understandable. That's understandable. It's the latest. It's the latest from the clinic. Dr. Fingers was, you know, in the studio last night and shit. Or whatever you want to call this. It's like everything, you know, studio, apartment, living space. It's just right, you know, everything is right here in this small spot. And it's okay for now. I'm happy with it, you know what I'm saying? I'm thankful and appreciative of this space that I have for now. Of course, it's only a temporary thing, so, you know. Knowing that, obviously, is a plus. You hear that shit? Isn't that shit banging? Bring that next shit in. Yeah. Yeah. He be popping shit off the top with the dome piece. Like, oh shit, bring the chrome piece. Ain't no need for that. In the streets, bring peace to the rest. Oh my god, it's about to be some stress. Smoke some cess so I could just impress the best. Who the fuck want test what I got in the hot shit? Pop topic, it's dropping like some boulders off the top of a mountain. In the fountain of youth, there's no proof this shit exists. The shit just spits from lips to bullshit. Oh God, get a grip like rubber on a handle. Don't give nobody time to dismantle the plan, yo. Oh shit, it's scandalous. Way these peoples keep talking, stalking, outlined in chalk when it's the sidewalks they stalking, falling down to the ground when shit's barking. Oh my God, when them shots sparking, somebody heartless when they left somebody heartless, cause they caught him and start shit. Don't give two fucks. Equipped with the shit that's on the belt line. So mine, just spit with a Tech 9. Damn, he caught the man, ain't no plan. Stand up before you ran up in, just like bitches, snitches. Don't catch stitches and left, they left in them ditches. Oh shit, them cats over there speaking words that gotta be absurd. But what you heard was the rest of the ones talking in the background sound like they wanna act like clowns. Oh my goddamn son, don't get down with the business, the ill shit. Hit him, left him stiff quick. Don't let me get spliffed. Sometimes I be thinking I'm not gifted, but the rest of them be riffing, tripping, just like some clumsy oafs. Oh no, the loaf of the bread was dead in the head, but said, and I don't give a fuck, call the feds. It's bombastic, drastic, get wrapped in plastic, ass kicked, that's it, tragic. In the funeral home, mom was just asking questions about lessons that's learning, turning around the warm corner, what you're learning, burning, yearning for something more. Oh shit, don't knock on my door. I don't wanna have to hit you, leave you on the floor with something that just roars like a lion. Lying if you come through with supplying. I'm just asking you why you denying. Now you crying. I'm eyeing the next one to the left cause he's working for the gun. I don't know, son, ain't no time to run. Popped out with something that left them stunned. They was looking at the head in the bag and asked who that is. And I said, yo, it's your dad. Now he's glad to be away from you in your life. Cause the shit that you brought down was straight trife. Oh shit, cut him with a fucking dull knife. Heard him screaming and stabbed his wife in the eye. Guess that's your mom's too, blew her brains out. Oh shit, yo, you insane now. Cause you kept doing the same thing, thinking you was gonna get different results. And the only thing you got was something that got you to choke. And the rest of your family poke. I told you should never provoke. Oh shit, when it's just up in the smoke. Everybody say, yo son, think it's a joke. I ain't got no time for nobody catching a poke. If you think you got this shit, yo, it ain't rope. Oh, left hanging, damn shit's banging. Strange when it comes to the cats changing. The way things rearranging your frames and banging in your head like the basement comes to singing. Nothing but the shit that's coming top of the dome. If you don't like it, then leave me the fuck alone. Before you find out what happens. Cats in the morning straight rapping. I like this beat. I didn't think I was gonna like it as much when I made it, but you know, it turned out nice. I like the way the drums be like that little break at the back. Bring it back so I can hear that shit. It's like hard on you, like you getting punched in the face several times. You know, that's what it feels like. But you know, back to just like talking about things and stuff like that, right? You know, because I don't, you know, I live in a bubble. I'm not gonna lie to you. I live in a little bubble, and you know, it's not a bad bubble. It's not a bad bubble. It's just a bubble of I don't want to deal with anybody else's bullshit, right? It's a bullshit bubble. It blocks bullshit out. So all I have to do is deal with my bullshit, and that's, you know, easy enough. And I'll invite my kids bullshit and half of their bullshit into the bubble, because you know they got to learn to deal with their own shit too. It's part of life. You don't learn to deal with it at some point in life, usually earlier than later. Then life is fucking crazy for you because you don't know how to deal with the bullshit. And it's just, it comes over one. It's like, oh my god, it's all this shit is on top of me. I can't take it. No. It's because you're dealing with other people's shit. So you just deal with your shit. It's easier for you to, you know, manage the amount of shit It's spilling all over the place. You get what I'm saying? Like, oh shit, this is my shit. I can deal with my shit. It's my shit. I know where this shit is coming from. I know where it needs to go back to. But when it's other people's shit, you don't fucking know. Sometimes you might give somebody some fucked up advice because you're dealing with your shit and you don't want to hear about their shit. So you tell them some shit so they'll go and deal with their own shit. But then the shit piles up on top of them because you told them the wrong shit to do. And now they've done the wrong shit on top of the shit that they were already dealing with in the first place. And now they've got double the shit. And then they bring you more of that shit that they're dealing with because now the shit you told them made their shit bigger. And now you got more shit on top of shit. You know what I'm saying? This is a compounding piling of shit. It's bad. It can be, overwhelming for some people. They got all this shit. So you gotta make a shit bubble. Pop. Shit splashes right against it, but it doesn't make it in, It's ugly to look at. Flies flying around it, trying to eat off the shit particles that have collected upon the outside of your shit bubble. But the thing is, the shit's on the outside of your bubble. So who fucking cares? You know what I'm saying? Who cares? Who cares? You don't have to deal with that shit. Somebody else has to deal with that shit. That's not your shit to be dealing with. If it was your shit, it'd be in your bubble. Because, see, shit comes from you, of course, right? You know what I'm saying? It does. So, rather than flinging your shit everywhere else, which is another good thing about the shit bubble, it makes you deal with your shit. You have to deal with it. It's too bad. You don't want to deal with it? Oh, well, too bad. It's going to just sit there and stink up your bubble. You're going to be sitting in a stinky, shitty-ass bubble if you don't deal with your shit. But you don't have to deal with anybody else's shit. So it makes it easier for you to concentrate on dealing with your shit, and you'll find out that you're in a bubble that smells wonderful and deliciously, wonderfully wonderful. That's all I can say, deliciously and wonderful. And that's it. And you'll be happy about it. You know what I'm saying? You'll be happy about it. And you won't care about the outside shit. That has nothing to do with you. And then pretty soon you can upgrade to shit repulsor bubble. Now this is the ultimate bullshit protection. It's the ultimate. See, what happens is once you've dealt with your shit, the shit that's in your bubble, you can then upgrade to the repulsor option. Now, what is the repulsor option? I'm going to tell you what the repulsor option is. The repulsor option is that not only does your bubble protect you from having shit tossed into your space, it repels that shit from even being on your bubble. That's right, folks. You're asking yourself, how the fuck does that happen? Well, see, once you've dealt with your shit, your inner self will exude a sort of force field, protective energy into this bullshit bubble that at one point was just people were tossing the shit on you, but it wasn't permeating and penetrating into your core. You get what I'm saying? Now, with the repulsor option, you now have the power to project that you don't even want to hear this shit without having to say it. People will just look at you and be like, I'm not even going to say anything to this person because I know they don't give a fuck. I know they don't. It projects that you don't give a fuck attitude without having to say, I don't give a fuck, and be rude about it. You get what I'm saying? See, rudeness only comes from the interaction between two people where one feels as if they were spoken to in a way that they didn't like. It's too much personal interaction. Somebody may think something is rude and you may not think it is. They may ask you a question, how was your day? And you might say, it fucking sucks. And they'll be like, oh God, they're rude. No, you're not rude at all. In your mind, you're being honest. Your day sucked and you told them so. He asked, right? No. So it prevents those awkward situations. And in a day and age like now where you can offend and assault someone simply by saying ma'am or sir, well, you have to stop those types of interactions from even happening in the first place. And this doesn't mean being an antisocial person, although there's nothing wrong with that if you are. If you're antisocial, good. You shouldn't be around people because you'll be a dick. And I respect you for admitting that you're a dick. I'm antisocial. I know not to talk to you. That is part of the repulsor technology. within you automatically. Right? But see, thing is, the way it works is you don't even have to say I'm antisocial. You get what I'm saying? People will know that you are social to a certain degree. Meaning, hey, keep your shit to yourself. I don't care about your goddamn home life. I came here to work. You want to talk about whatever you watched on television? Something entertaining. Oh, a party you went to. Fine, I'll listen to that. But as soon as whatever you're telling me is no longer entertaining but stressful, well, guess what? I don't want to hear it. And I'm going to tell you that. In as polite a way as possible. Without just saying, shut the fuck up. Because most people just want to say that. You know what I'm saying? You got to take, like, cues from people. Because people give you these subtle cues all the fucking time. You'll be talking about some shit. They don't find it interesting. Subtle cues would be like certain looks on the face. Looks away from your face to a phone or something like that. See, that's why when I talk to people, I like to give them eye contact. So that they know, when they're speaking to me, that I am actually focused on them and listening to what the fuck it is they're saying. I'm very big on that. Now, maybe that's some old-fashioned shit, but it's the way I feel when you're in a conversation with someone. Both people should be giving each other eye contact. Looking at your phone or looking away from somewhere. So, if someone is not engaged in the conversation, I know that they're not interested in what it is that I'm talking about. And I take that subtle cue to shut the fuck up. Simple as that. But, rather than even bother with that, I just do my thing. You know, just do me. And usually if I'm doing myself and I'm enjoying what it is that I'm doing, somebody else wants to know what the fuck it is that I'm doing. So they may ask a question, which shows that they are interested in whatever it is. Which can be a conversation starter, builder, whatever, however you want to look at it. But don't be that person that's always trying to start the conversation. Don't. As you may be interested in whatever it is that you're talking about extremely deeply. You'll start talking about this shit, and then people will be looking at you, and their eyes will gloss over, and then they'll start looking over here and there. And then, in some cases, they may, if you're talking to a group of people, just get up and walk away. And then you're stuck with that last person who just didn't get up fast enough, but doesn't really want to hear what the fuck you're talking about. Don't be that person, folks. Be that first person that just got up and left. Or be the person that they didn't even include in the group. If you're really interested in what they're talking about, you can listen from a distance. If they're talking out loud in front of a bunch of people, then they obviously don't care if you're listening. And then if it interests you, then, you know, maybe you could chime in. Maybe. Or you could just listen. Listening is key. Listening is key, folks. You must learn to do so a lot. Actively listen. Don't hear, listen. You learn a lot about people just from listening to them, analyzing them. You know, in the past, I've been a person who's been a very poor judge of character, usually because I was always doing a bunch of things and surrounding myself with people who weren't, you know, necessarily the best character was better for me, you know, because, hey, I am better than the rest of them. But I don't think that way anymore. I think I don't want to be surrounded by people who aren't not like me. I don't want to be around people like me. I would fucking hate to be around someone like myself all the time. That would just be aggravating. I'd aggravate the fuck out of myself. Like, literally, I would. I know I would. I aggravate myself now. Seriously. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's certain shit that I do that I don't like that I do it, but I do it because it's effective. But I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? You're sitting there, like, why are you doing it this way? Why? Why don't you just do this? No, I'm going to do it like this. Because it makes more sense this way. And if you don't like it, that's too bad. Who are you talking to? I'm talking to you. You are you. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to yourself. Me, myself, I'll talk to sometimes. Because why not? Who cares? People do it all the fucking time. There's nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? If you're in the middle of the fucking woods by yourself, right? Like, let's say you are. You know, you're hiking or on some life-changing journey to, like, discover who you are. Whatever it may be, you know what I'm saying? Who cares? But it's your journey, and you're out in the middle of the fucking woods. You're walking around. You're gonna talk to yourself. Oh wow, look at that bird over there. Who the fuck are you talking to? Who the fuck are you talking to? Hmm? Yourself. Because there's nobody else out there. And if you're not recording some shit or streaming it, well, then guess what? You're talking to yourself. So there's nothing wrong with it. Now, if you're having full blown conversations with yourself and you're like answering your own questions, there could be something wrong with you. There could be something wrong with you. I'm not going to say that there is. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I took a couple of years of it in school, briefly, learned some stuff. But to say that I could, like, diagnose anyone, well, I guess I could, if I had the proper, manuals and shit in front of me. But they change them so often. Last time I saw it, there was certain stuff that they didn't have then that they do have now. So, it's ever changing because people keep creating disorders just because of the way people think. And it's weird to do that, to classify every behavior that someone may have as a disorder rather than a trait of one's character. It's not good to do things like that. Yeah, so you have a different way of thinking. That's a trait of your character. You don't think like everyone else. Oh my fucking God. Why does it have to be a fucking disorder? Why? Oh, that's right. Pharmaceutical companies make money off of these disorders that they give you all these medications for that don't really do anything, for the disorder itself. Because you start thinking about it, and it's like, not to say that certain disorders aren't bad, right? They are bad because they do things. But is it the disorder itself that's doing it as much as the environment the person with the disorder lives in that's doing it? You get what I'm saying? Like, let's use an extreme case. Extreme disorder. We'll talk about paranoid schizophrenia, right? Paranoid schizophrenia, right? They're some of the most unstable people when unmedicated and can be dangerous. I know this for a fact. You're not going to tell me anything any different. Oh, you're judging. No, I'm not judging. I'm speaking from fucking experience, okay? Speaking from experience. And I'm not saying that they are all like this. But the ones that I've seen and the ones that I've dealt with, especially the last one, they have a very weird, detached perception of reality, as if they're living halfway in this world and halfway in another one. And it's weird. It's very weird. For someone to be speaking to you about things that you know aren't real. You know this. But the way they speak about them, you know that they believe what the fuck they're saying. Like, they're not making it up. They believe it. They see it. Now, who's to say? Who's to say that they don't really see something? We don't know because we're not in their fucking heads. But I've seen the look on their faces. I've seen the look in their fucking eyes. When they're looking at you and they're telling you that you're not who you are, and they're talking to you like you're whatever it is that they see. And you can see it in their face. You can see it. It's fucking frightening as hell because they don't know who you who you are. Who you know that you are, they don't know that person. You've become someone else. You don't even know where they are in their mind because they're not where you are. If that makes any sense. And trying to escape from someone who is completely and totally in some other world in their mind, and they see this world outside of their mind, or they're so trapped in their mind that all they see is what's in it, and they think that they're actually walking physically in it, and they are walking physically in it, but not in it, in our world. So it's like being in a VR helmet, right? All right, this is how I imagine it must be for someone who's paranoid and schizophrenic when they're going into a delusional fucking state of mind. It's like having on a damn virtual reality helmet and gloves and shit, so you're like in this virtual reality, but you're not in a house. You don't realize that you're in virtual reality. You're walking around all day, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this shit just falls on your head and hands, and you don't realize it somehow. You don't realize this virtual reality system has encased you. So you still think you're walking around in the real world, physically, but things are changing. So you're like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on here? Like I was just walking down the street, and now I'm like here. But you're in this virtual reality suit. So you're really in the regular world, but that's not what you're seeing. So you're walking around and some regular everyday person walks up on you. Hey, how you doing, John? But you don't see them. You see whatever the virtual reality is showing you. And you flip the fuck out. Oh God. Oh God. Fuck it. You start choking this regular everyday person who's in front of you like, what the fuck is going on? Right? But the person knows that you don't see them as they should be. They know that, but it's too late for them. Not to the person way across the street looking at all this. It just looks like some fucking crazy person. Just crazy in the sense that they're choking the fucking shit out of somebody in broad fucking daylight. They don't know that this person is seeing something else, right? So yeah, and when I had dealt with this situation several different times, when I realized the person had a break from the reality that we're in, it's frightening because now you're trapped because you don't know how you play into it. And the very first time it happened, I didn't realize that the person was having one of these delusional fucking episodes. I had no fucking clue. I was clueless. I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden they're staring at me, like they want to fucking kill me. And I'm like, looking, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Push the person. And he like jumped up off the fucking couch, grabbed the fucking screwdriver, and just like standing there, like staring at me. And I'm like, all right, now you're playing too much. You're playing too much. This isn't funny. This isn't funny at all. And it's at the point that I realized they weren't being funny. They really thought that I was some type of demon or some shit, and they were going to kill me with a fucking screwdriver. Whatever they could. They were afraid of whatever it was that I was. And he backed up into a corner and just stood there staring at me. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? Don't speak to me. Don't speak to me, demon. And I'm just like, okay, what do you do in a situation like this? Like, what do you do? Do you run? I mean, to me, it's almost like when a dog is looking at you, right? And you know it wants to bite you, but it hasn't quite yet decided if it's going to, right? It's waiting for you to do something that gives it reason to bite you, right? Because it hasn't done so yet, so it's waiting for a reason. Like, maybe you move too suddenly and then it fucking bites you, or you run away and so it chases you because now it knows you're weaker than it, or scared, or maybe you're going to get more friends. I don't know what it thinks. All I know is you ran. It's like, okay, I'm gonna bite you, or you just stand there, right? And it becomes a thing of, well, how long are we gonna stand here, not doing anything until one part backs down? You hope it's him. You hope it's the dog, right? You of course hope it's the dog. You don't want to have to fight this dog. It has teeth and claws and shit. There's too many things that you're gonna have to like hold, and one less weapon that you have, because you're not gonna bite it. I mean, maybe you would, possibly. It's possible that you might bite it. I would probably bite it if I had no other fucking choice. Like if I thought it was my life or the dog's life, and this dog's gonna end my life if I don't end its life, and I have both my hands holding like one of its paws and its neck away from my face, I guess yeah, I'd bite its fucking throat out. I wouldn't be happy about it, and it definitely wouldn't be some shit that I'd be doing on a regular fucking basis. But if I had to save my goddamn life, yeah, I'm fucking biting the fucking dog's throat out if I can. Ripping that shit right the fuck out. And then I'll go to therapy for months, maybe even years afterwards, because that's some like savagely brutal primal shit to have to do. It's not something that anybody thinks about doing. I'm gonna tear the throat out of something while it's living to kill it so I don't die. Whew, traumatic, right? Like, why did my brain just go there? I have no idea. But back to this whole thing of the schizophrenia shit, right? Got sidetracked for a hot second. Bam. So, I'm sitting there, and they're just staring at me. And it's at this point I realize that they're sitting between me And the only door that I can get out of, because this person used to like put multiple locks and barricades on the doors. And at first I was just thinking like, oh, he has the weed in the house. So he's probably worried about like somebody breaking in the house to steal the weed. That's what I was thinking, right? It's logical thought process for some shit like that. That's not what it was. It's not what it was. Because when the shit became legal, he still did that. And he even added more to it. Then it was, questions about things, talking about stuff that wasn't happening. And I realized that this wasn't jokes or games. This person really had no grip on reality. So anyway, getting out of this situation was something that I was trying to figure out how I was going to do. And luckily, there was no skill on my part at all. He just snapped out of it. And I left. Now you're probably saying to yourself, well, that first incident right there would have, made me realize that that's a person that I don't want to be around. And I did realize it at that point. But now this person realized that I realized that there was something wrong with them. You know what I'm saying? It made it very difficult to avoid this person because they lived in the same building. So I'd be walking up and down the stairs doing life stuff, and they'd accost me like bam out of nowhere, just boom, yo, blah, 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 and questions, asking stuff, trying to like make me go in their house. And I'm just thinking to myself, that place is a trap. Like once you're in there, you don't really have an option of how you're getting out unless you plan on jumping out of a window or fighting for your life if they go into one of these weird delusions and shit. And one day I would find out. Come very close to losing my life. And it wasn't fun at all. At all. It was not fun. I mean, of course, almost losing your life is not fun. But, it wasn't the sense of like I was beaten senseless and died or was in the hospital. Thank God that didn't happen. What happened was I came very close to that being the case. Very close. Very, very fucking close. And I didn't like it. I didn't like that feeling. I didn't like that feeling at all. Because I knew I had two options. A third one just miraculously popped itself up. Well, a fourth one I should say. Because I had three options. At first I chose option number one, which was to fight the person. They had gone into this panicked state of just frenzy. Everything was bothering them. They were hearing this. They heard and saw that. Someone knocked on their door. It's like the weirdest thing is one after another. And it just kept harassing me. So now they want this person swears up and down that I'm doing this, that, and the other. So I'm like, well, the only way for me to convince this person that I'm not doing this is just to go fight this person. They want to fight. Finally, fuck it. I'll just fight this person. Fuck it. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it because I'm tired of dealing with this constant, just back and forth shit. So, getting ready to go fight the person, they realize that I'm willing to fight them. This makes them even more fucking paranoid. Which is like, I would have thought they would have been more paranoid if I didn't agree to fight them. Like, oh, I don't want to fight you. Oh. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, now I'm going to fight you. So I was like, okay, fuck it. Let's fine. Let's go fight. Fuck it. Didn't make you happy. We'll go fight. Let's get this over with. So as I'm walking, the person decides, no, that's not what they want. That's not what they want at all. See, my back is turned to them now. Get grabbed from behind and dragged in the fucking house. Door slammed, locked. Little barricade thing put up. Oh shit. What's going on? Backed into a corner real fast. Dude's like twice my size. Like literally. I'm not even joking with you. Pushed me into the corner, starts fucking strangling the shit out of me. Like I'm like, oh shit, like this is really going down right now. Like, is this motherfucker trying to kill me? Like, in this fucking house under where I live over my grandmother? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I can't believe this is happening right now. Choking the fucking shit out of me. Break free of it and like standing there. I have no weapon. It's not my house, say I don't know where anything is that is of any danger. So I have no weapons. And this person is in this state of mind that they want to end me. So now I'm looking around frantically. His eyes are darting here, there, and everywhere. I'm just looking for something. A screwdriver, a pen, a fucking butter knife, a fork, even a fucking spoon. I don't care. A glass bottle, a fucking bong, a fucking can of Coke, something, a book, a magazine, a newspaper. I don't care what it is, just anything. Just give me something more than just nothing, right? When I'm scanning the room, I notice there's a hammer. But the hammer is nowhere near me. And I'm not going to be able to get to it because it's right where they are. There's a screwdriver, but I'm not close to the screwdriver either. I'm still kind of in the corner of the fucking room. This person's also looking frantically around for things, and they know more where stuff is than I do. They see the hammer. I see them see the hammer. Immediately, my heart drops into my fucking stomach because I'm like, oh my fucking God, I'm not going to be able to stop this person if they decide to start beating on me with a fucking hammer. Like, how am I going to stop them? I put my arm up there and just smash it with the fucking hammer. And remember, this person is twice my size and fully engulfed in this delusion that I am somehow responsible for whatever the fuck this thing thinks that I'm responsible for that requires me dying. Grabs the hammer. I get out of the corner as they turn to grab the hammer. And I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to go. Do I jump out the fucking window? Do I fucking try to unlock this door and get the back of my skull smashed in with this fucking hammer? I didn't know what to do. But as I was making my way into the front room, towards the front door or front windows, there's a screwdriver. Grabbed it. Didn't let them know I grabbed it, but I grabbed it. Right? I'm like, okay. At least I have this, but still, I have to get close with this to stab. I can't beat them with it. They start swinging that fucking hammer wildly. I get caught with either end of that shit, and it's curtains. And it's not going to be pretty at all. It's going to be fucking ugly. And, this is what's going through my head, is being bludgeoned to death with a fucking hammer. It's not a fun thought at all. It's not one that you want to fucking sit there and think about, especially if it's like, think about it. Oh, when would it be? No, that's different. You're thinking about, I wonder what it would be like to get beat together. Not that I don't know of any person who thinks about what it would be like to be beat to death with a fucking hammer. I don't think anybody thinks like that. I hope not. That would be just weird. Like, why would you want to think about it like that? But what I am saying is, if you were to think about it, right, it wouldn't be as bad if you were thinking about it as being some theoretical shit that happens, rather than it being like imminently close to happening, and you thinking about those moments of what might happen if you get smashed in the head with this fucking hammer. Like, it's doing damage. You know this. You know it. There's no way it's not doing damage. And what kind of damage is it going to do? Are you going to survive? And if you do survive, in what condition will you be? How much of your brain is going to be smushed? Or your face? Or what if this person doesn't stop and they start smacking you with the claw end of it? This is all the shit that's going through my head. Like, what part of me is going to catch the first hit? Am I going to know it's coming? Are they going to walk away like everything is okay and just come back and smack? Like, what am I going to do? These are all the things that are going through my head. I had decided. If I was going to get hit with this hammer at all, if that was what's going to happen, and I'm potentially going to die, well, I'm going to take this person with me, or try. That's all they're not just going to beat me with this fucking hammer and I'm just going to die and that's it. I'm just dead, bloody mass of one person on this fucking dirty floor and that's it. That's not going to happen. No. I wasn't going to accept that. They were going to, or would be close to going. So, I already made up in my mind that if I couldn't escape, then I would have to stab them with this fucking screwdriver as they beat me with the fucking hammer. And that would have just been it. Now, if I was lucky, when they raised their arm to hit me with the fucking hammer. If I was quick enough, maybe I could stab him in the fucking armpit with the screwdriver. That was the best case scenario if the, confrontation had gone to a physical, well, more physical one than it had already started out as, right? So they're standing there, and I'm kind of like close to the window, but not near the window. I've got this hammer. I'm kneeling down on the fucking floor. I've got the screwdriver on my leg, right? And they've got this hammer, and they've got it over their head now. They're looking at me like they want to smack me with it. I don't know what happened. But they put the hammer down, and they started. And I say put down, I don't mean like set it down. No, they never did that. They just put it down. And they walked into the other room. And I'm still sitting there. I'm in shock. Like, I don't know what to do, right? I don't know if I'm supposed to jump out this window, try to unlock the door, stab them. I don't know. I'm just like at this point, I don't know what to do. I just sit there, like, right? Just sit there. Because I've never been that close to being beaten to death. And I've been jumped by 3 people who stomped me out on the ground. And it didn't have the same effect of instilling this weird kind of trauma or fear as this moment. When I didn't, the worst thing that happened was I got choked. I guess it's because I know when they jumped me, they weren't intending to kill me. They just wanted to beat my ass. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that in that incident, the difference between the two of them was I know this person wanted to kill my ass. Like, I knew that. I knew that that's what they intended to do when they started what they started. That they were in that mind state. And the only thing that saved my life is that, of course, I didn't have to stab them because I'd have been in jail, right? So we know that didn't happen. Once again, they snapped out of it. Like nothing happened. And it was so fucking bizarre to see someone go from trying to kill you to just talking to you like you guys are best fucking friends, rolling up a joint, trying to smoke with you. And you don't want to smoke with them. You are in shock. I was in shock. I didn't sleep that night. And the next day, I left the state of Connecticut because my brain just fractured. It was just fractured. It was just like I couldn't take anymore. I was already going through my own shit mentally at the time. And that shit just was like, it was the straw that broke the camel's back. I just lost it. I couldn't deal with it anymore. The people that I was around, it was such a weird chain of events. Like, all the people I helped in life were all fucking doing really foul shit. One was trying to kill me. The other one was like just fucking destroying my whole psychological outlook on everything. And it was just like I had nowhere to go. Like, I just couldn't deal with it anymore. I was like to a point where I just wanted to kill them, all of them. Just like you and kill you both. And thinking like that, you're just like, what are you gonna do? Like, your kids are gonna end up like without their parents because you can't kill people. You'll go to jail and stuff, and that's not good. So I left. I did what I had to do. Or what I thought I had to do. Which I did have to do it. Because, if I didn't go through or have been going through what I've been going through for the past 2, almost 3 years, then I wouldn't have become the person that I am now. I'd still be that fucked up, drugged alcoholic, and that was not good. You can't see it when you're living it, you know what I'm saying? You don't see how bad it is for you, but once you stop doing it, at least for me, I can't speak for everybody, once you stop doing it, you start wondering why you were ever doing it in the first place. And then that's what you have to revisit to continue to stay from doing it, is to find out, well, why did I do this in the first place? You know? Because life, at least for me, you know, like I say, when I say these things, I don't want everybody to think I'm telling you that your life is going to be like this. This is how it is for me. I don't know how it is for you. You may wake up and just be miserable. And I'm sorry if that's your life, because I refuse to wake up and be miserable. I refuse. I refuse. I refuse. That's why I don't watch news and shit, because it's usually always some bad, depressing shit. I don't want to hear that shit. You know, that's why I say I live in my own little bullshit proof bubble. Only bullshit I want to deal with is my own. I don't want to deal with nobody else's bullshit. Oftentimes there's no reasoning. When somebody has something in their head, there's nothing. What, are you gonna make them stop thinking the way they think? No, you can't do that. You can try, and maybe sometimes you may be successful, but that's not very often. When somebody has something in their mind that they feel extremely strongly about, or have built their life around, to get them to say, oh, well, it's not, I can accept that it's not real. No. It's a very hard thing to do, is to convince somebody that what they think is not what they should think. I'm proof of that. Like, I've done things that were obviously not things that you should do. Like, but I didn't think that. I thought that, hey, I can do it differently and beat it somehow, Like I was saying about addiction and shit. Like, nobody goes into it expecting it to take over their lives. Nobody does. Everybody always thinks that they are going to have control over it. Like, they'll control it. I'll do it when I feel like doing it. Okay. That's how it starts. That's how it starts. That's how it starts with most things. Well, I'll just do it during these times. And then you find yourself doing it more often. And then you'll come up with some fucking bullshit excuse as to why you're doing it more often. Well, I got a raise, so, celebration. Oh, yeah, I'm having a great day. And it just becomes, oh, I just need to do it because I want to get high. There's no reason beyond that. And once you get to that point where you know that you're doing it simply because you're doing it, you're addicted. And you don't see it coming at all. Now, there's also the whole going from just being addicted to there are different levels of addiction. You know what I'm saying? There's more than one, obviously, level of addiction. I mean, there could be several depending on the type of person that you are. So, to say that there's this set guideline, no. There are cues and generalizations that one can look at, and certain stereotypes that do apply to certain types of drug use. But it is different per individual. Okay? Per individual. Some individuals are addicted to marijuana, like crack. They can't live their life without it. They have to have it. Have to. Or they can't fucking function. And being an addict, or being a former addict, another thing I'm going to tell you people out here, okay? You could disagree if you want to. There's a wonderful thing about an opinion is everybody's entitled to one. So, this is my opinion, right? You go to these places like Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, right? You go to these places and, they constantly tell you, you're a recovering addict. You'll always be an addict. You'll always be an alcoholic. Well, what kind of dumb shit is that to tell somebody, that you'll always be these things when you're not doing the things that you're doing? Right? Now, here is probably what I'm going to assume that they're telling you is the potential to be an addict still could arise at any point in time. Right, that is true. But that's true for anybody. But we're not going to call people who haven't used drugs yet addicts. But everyone has the potential to be addicted to something. Anything. if it triggers dopamine in your brain, you may potentially become addicted to it. Somebody might be addicted to watching people fucking run down the road for some strange reason. It may trigger a fucking pleasure sensor in his brain. And they're just like, oh God, oh God, I love this. What do you love, dear? I love watching people run down the road. You do? Yes. I'll be back. You know, this motherfucker starts driving all over the fucking world to go to fucking marathons and shit because he needs this trigger in his mind. And he gets high off of it. You know? He gets high off of it. Now, are there people addicted to watching people run down roads? I have no idea. Is it possible? Yes, it is. It is very possible. Now, of course, drugs are intended to make people into addicts. They're intended to. You know, you make a product, you want people to come back. You don't make it so it's good and that's it. You know, no. That's not enough. You know, it's not enough that it's good, right? It's gotta have you coming back, even when it's not good. You'll just do it because you have no fucking choice. Somebody could tell that shit will make your brain explode. And you'll be like, well, not my brain. I've been doing it for this long. It's not gonna make my brain explode. No, you're just one of those lucky people who just so happens to not have had your brain explode from it yet. But it will eventually happen. There's no doubt about it, you know. There are certain effects from certain things that, well, now, is being addicted to watching people run down the road a terrible addiction? It could be, you know. As with any addiction, there could be a dark side to it, as there are with most. Maybe this motherfucker is spending all this money traveling to go see these fucking marathons and shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, his family's broke. His wife has to pick up an extra job. And now she's got to be the sole breadwinner because this motherfucker's gone from fucking just traveling and working to fuck this work shit. I need to see more marathons. And of course, he doesn't think he's hurting anybody, right? Of course not. He's just watching marathons. Who's getting hurt there, right? He doesn't see the damage he's doing outside of his little bubble. His little bubble is marathons must be watched, high attained, happiness, joy. I'm not smoking anything. I'm not shooting up anything. I'm not popping any pills. I'm not drinking shit. I'm just watching marathons. Now you're probably saying, well, he could just watch, you know, maybe have somebody run up and down the street, right? And that would suffice. Not anymore. He's past that. He's past that. One person running up and down the street is just not going to do it. His brain needs multiple people. The bigger the marathon, the better. He would have to stop altogether for him to ever even think of getting to that level where one person running up and down the street would potentially be enough. And since you know that that's not going to happen for quite some time, the vicious cycle continues. Seeking bigger marathons, wherever they may be. Spending his last dime, mortgaging the house. There's one in Italy, I guess, not too long ago, and he just had to see it. There's like 2,000 fucking people in the marathon. You know, the beginning of it is some of the best of it. You know, seeing all the people standing there in their colorful little uniforms, you know, jogging shorts and little shirts, their numbers, their colorful sneakers and stuff, and they're jumping up and down, doing little leg stretches, just splashing water in their face. You know, that right there is what really gets them going. So the more people gather doing all this random movement triggers his brain. Bow! He gets that high. One person is just not going to do it. That doesn't work anymore. As is the same with pretty much any addiction that you end up with. It doesn't matter if it's a substance or not. What matters is the effect it has on the parts of your brain that make you want more of it. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, there are certain chemicals and substances that are physically addictive. That's different. We're not talking about physical addiction. We're talking about addiction at its core, what it is. Just addiction, not chemically induced addiction. Dependency, one should say. Not addiction, because that's different. That's a dependency. That's chemical dependency. Your body now needs this chemical in order for it to function the way it thinks it's supposed to function. It's malfunctioning, but it needs this chemical to supposedly function. You understand what I'm saying? It's just a fucking different type of dependency. But I'm talking just addiction. Just addiction. You know? And just there, I've explained to you why addiction can be terrifyingly bad for any person, you know, depending on what it is. Unless you figure out a way to replace the addictions that are harmful with addictions that are helpful. And you're like, how can an addiction be helpful? It can be. I'm addicted to happiness, right? I'm addicted to it. I like being happy. It's fun for me. It's like a constant supply of dopamine. It's not a huge supply and bursts. It's a nice, constant supply. Just like an IV drip, right? I know it sounds crazy, but this is how it is. It's like if you have a bag of dopamine just sitting there, and it's set to drip a set amount over the set amount of time. So rather than going, ha ha ha, you're la 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 la, and as things get better, it increases. La 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 la, but it stays there. It's not up and down. It's not this constant roller coaster ride of bullshit. It's just a nice, just steady flow. And I've explained to you before how I do this. And anybody can do this. Anyone can do this. You can all do this. You should try doing this. You really should. And here's why. Because it will change your life. And I'm not trying to be one of those like motivational speakers and shit. I'm just, that's like what I was thinking about when I woke up this morning. I was like, you know, I wake up every day and I'm happy about it. Why? Because I'm thankful for stuff. It's just little stuff. Anything. It's just, I would much rather fill my day looking for things to be happy about than looking for things to be sad about or angry about or stressed out about. You know, these situations that you're usually stressing out about are stressful because they're constant. So if you know they exist, just fucking stop stressing about them. And I know that sounds easy. Oh, you say that. Oh, you say don't stress about bills. No, don't. Just pay them. Yeah, you're going to not have a lot of money. Oh, well, you know, just try to find another way to be happy that doesn't include spending money. Make the things you want if you can, you know, or find other things. There's a lot of stuff you can do to be happy that doesn't cost money. You know, some of the things that I like doing, especially, is just spending time with my kids. No matter what it is we're doing, I enjoy spending time with them because they're funny, you know, to me. Especially the older one, when he starts talking, like usually he's so fucking quiet. And that annoys me because he used to not be quiet, but now he's just quiet. And it's like, you know, smack him because I want him to talk. He's like, and he'll get to talking, and then we're all like having fun and shit for the most part, you know. You gotta teach them some things. But other than that, you know, we enjoy each other's company, and that's a big thing because we're all males. And we bump heads because we're all males. So, you know, that's just a male thing. You know, it's like monkeys. Well, not monkeys, but any male creature in the wild that has to show that they're the boss male. You smack each other around, maybe talk real loud, you beat your chest. I'm in charge. Shh, quiet. You know, it's fun though. I enjoy it a lot. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy it a lot. My kids bring me joy. So like every day is always a good day. Even if bad things happen in the day, the overall day is good because I was alive, free, and healthy to face it. So no matter what happens, it happened. You get what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you? I hope it does. I hope it does. Because I didn't use, I didn't always think that way. Like, I'd just be mad about shit and get stressed out. And I would go from home to work with the stress from home. And then I would try to deal with the work. And then there's the stress from work. And then get back home and there's more stress. But I still haven't dealt with the stress from work and home from earlier. So now it's just, no, I don't, there's no stress. I'm not stressed out about anything. Things are going to happen. They're going to happen. It's life in general. You're not going to always have a wonderful day. But you can always have a wonderful day just realizing that you didn't have to have that day at all. You have the day. You have the day. Bam. That's a wonderful thing. And I didn't know, like I said, I didn't always think like this. I didn't always think like this. But I do now. And I've enjoyed thinking like this. And it's not like an overnight change. You get what I'm saying? It took some getting used to thinking this way. Like, at first I had to actively do it. Then it became something that I just was like, wow. And you start looking forward to shit that other people would find stressful. You're like, it's a challenge. That's what I see life as. Stress is not stress, it's challenges. They're set things that need to be accomplished, like achievements in a video game. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. They're achievements, little badges that you get. And it's like, a badge of, I dealt with paying the bills this month. I don't know, like, if you need that to be a badge, then make it your badge so you can be motivated to achieve that badge. It's like, boom. Or you paid half your bills. Or you paid 3/4 of your bills. Or you paid 1/4 of your bills. Whatever. You can have different levels of achievement. Gold star, purple star, bronze star, silver star, red star, whatever. Platinum star. Ooh, that's paid them to 0 and put a little extra on them. Shit. You know what I'm saying? Whatever suits you to make you turn the things that you find as stress or negative into positives. And see life in a new way. Because, yes, is there terrible shit happening? Yes, of course. There is terrible shit happening. There's tons of terrible shit. So there's a lot more to be negative about than there is to be positive. So you have to make positive. You have to make it. People make negative, you make positive. It's not hard to do that. It's not hard to do that at all. Just turn a bad situation into a good one somehow. And you can mentally do that. Of course, bills are bills. The thing is, they're their bills. It's nothing new. Your parents paid them, their parents paid them, and their parents paid them. So, why are we still fucking stressing out about them? Yes, they constantly go up. This is something else that we already know. We know this. We know this. It's nothing new. It always happens. Inflation happens. Taxes happen. Have been happening. So we're stressing ourselves out about things that we have absolutely no control over. And that's stupid behavior. You can't stop the taxes from going up. You can't stop inflation. No. You can adapt to it though. People say, oh, you're going to try to tell us to live with less. No, I'm not saying live with less. Live with less. Look for small businesses to deal with that aren't part of this whole inflation bubble. There are tons of small businesses that aren't. Why? Because they produce what they sell. You want fucking milk? Go to a goddamn dairy farm if you're tired of paying $5 a fucking gallon for milk. Dairy farms that aren't into sending their shit out commercially don't have that kind of leverage to say, well, I'm just going to set the price of $5 and these people are going to pay it. No, they're going to make it a reasonable price. Why? Because they can't keep all of it. What are they going to do with it all? It makes no sense. It goes to waste. They don't have that kind of fucking money to waste their milk. So you'll get a better product that they will stand behind because you get bad milk there, you're not going to go back. You get bad milk at a grocery store, you will go back. Because it's a fucking grocery store. Big corporation, they wouldn't do anything bad. Well, yeah, they do all the time. That's what they do. That's how they make their money. They're always recalling some shit years later after it's already fucking killed or maimed thousands or millions of fucking people. And it's like, oh, yeah, well, by the way, studies showed then that it was, and there's all other class action lawsuit. Okay, yeah, that's wonderful. Talcum powder and leads to cancer, and Johnson & Johnson's been fucking putting this shit in fucking baby powder for goddamn decades. And people have been putting baby powder on their fucking babies for goddamn decades. Makes you wonder why there may be so many cases of testicular cancer. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure as a male child, there were probably plenty of times that baby powder got splashed on the balls. You know what I'm saying? You change the diaper, poof, poof. Baby powder. It's fucking baby powder. I mean, goddamn. The name in itself just screams safeness. Baby powder. Now, I mean, if you were an alien, you would probably think to yourself, why are they making powder out of babies? They don't do that, aliens. It's not made from babies. It's made to put on babies. Hence why they call it baby powder. Okay? Not made from babies. Anyway, right? So, bam. Now let's say there's a company, small company, they make powder out of fucking cotton somehow. It's like baby powder, but it's cotton powder, right? Safe, because they know it's safe, because their family's been making this shit for goddamn decades. Longer than fucking Johnson & Johnson's been making whatever chemical that they've made to give you cancer in your regions that you put this shit on, right? So anyhow, blah. You buy the product. You love the product. Now this person is a local business. You know, their kids play with your kids. They're not douchebags. They're not dicks. You know where they live. They know you know where they live. They keep a shop in town. Stand by their products. They don't have a choice. Why can't we support that? Why? Why aren't you willing to pay the small business guy the same price that, or a little bit more, than you would Walmart? Why? Because you're brainwashed into thinking that buying cheaper products is saving you money. It's not saving you money. It's costing you money. It's costing you more money than you know. And this business comes to your close neighborhood. Next thing you realize is that there are businesses going out of business, right? And these people weren't living high on the fucking hog. They lived in the goddamn community that they fucking business was in. Now they can't afford to fucking live there because they've got to mortgage the house to pay off the closed businesses and shit like that. So now they've moved out of their home. It sits there abandoned and shit. Nobody else buys it. Now it's just sitting there. Another business owner loses his business. Bam. And he loses his home. Another abandoned property sitting there. You see where I'm going with this? Less taxes in the city, right? Because all these businesses are no longer paying taxes. No more homeowners paying taxes. So their tax base starts to shrink. That's not good. Shrinking tax base, got to increase taxes. Why? Because you're not getting as much because you don't have as many to get it from. So the few that you can get it from, you now have to take more from. What does that lead to? Well, I wonder. These businesses are no longer performing as they were before because they're paying more in taxes because of the loss of other businesses due to this corporation that's come in nearby. What do they end up doing? Well, if they are a sustainable business, they move elsewhere because it's cheaper elsewhere. What potentially happens? Another taxpayer loss. What does that mean? Oh my God, less people to tax, which means you tax more on the people left. Oh my God, taxes go up again. Businesses that are now struggling can't maintain anything. It's either pay taxes or pay your people. Well, if they're another sustainable business, they move. If they're not, they close their doors. If they live in the community and can no longer afford their house, they move away. What happens again? Shrinking tax base, increase in taxes. Now, you're in a downward spiral here. You can't keep going up on taxes because the more you go up, the more things close and the more people leave, the more abandoned properties that you have that you aren't collecting taxes on, so you don't have money to spend to clean up these fucking properties. Now, they're becoming these fucking piles of garbage. Your city is in ruins. It looks terrible. No one wants to move into there. No one wants to invest there. No one wants to bring a business there because your taxes are too fucking high. Because you don't have anyone to tax. Eventually, your city is bankrupt. Now it's in a deficit. You owe money. You're running out of money to pay your fucking employees. You gotta lay people off. The city no longer has people working, or they have to commute to work, which then they find it's cheaper for them to live near where they're working. So now more people leave. Tax base shrinks. You have to continue to increase taxes on an already tax burdened fucking population. It's not a good formula. It's not a good formula at all. And you, the person in this community, suffer because you want to buy at Walmart and shit, not realizing what it's doing or will do over time. Now, take that support you're giving to these corporations who don't give two fucks about you and put it back into your community. And urge these businesses in the community to contribute funds, time, maybe even materials to community-based initiatives that help the community. Because having a business in the community that just takes from it and doesn't give anything back to it, it's not a good relationship. It's not a good relationship at all. You know, you wouldn't have friends like that just take and never give anything back. No, it's not a friendship. It's not a friendship at all. I don't know what you would call it, but it's not good. It's like a parasite. It's just sitting there sucking your blood, and then when it's done with you, it jumps off and goes somewhere else. No, small businesses, local businesses can't be that. That's not good. Don't bleed the local people. Give them fair prices. Why? Because they'll come back, and you know this, which is why you'll have high prices, because you know they're going to come there. So don't do that. Give them reasonable prices. They'll come to you. And they'll continue to come to you. And treat them with respect. You know? Treat them with respect. Treat them like people. And once again, contribute to programs that you know help out these people. Because if you're in a community of downtrodden people, well, you're not going to make a whole lot of money. Then you are going to be inclined to raise prices on them because you know they have no other options. But if you put into that community, plant seeds, and those seeds start to grow, well, your business will grow. People will be more inclined to do business with the person that they know is putting something into this community. Because you become a part of that community. You know, you're not just there to take money from it. You're there to make their lives better. Because by making their lives better, you're going to make yours better. Your business will be better for it. They'll have money to spend. And where are they going to spend it? Well, they're going to spend it with you because your business is putting money in their pocket. You feel what I'm saying? That's the loose interpretation of what I'm doing. Very loose. It's much more detailed and mapped out on paper. But that's just the loose part of it. And I've been working on this for probably, the past couple of years. I just haven't put it into play yet. But I've been looking at it, studying it. Does it work? Can it work? Will it work? And all the answers that I've come to so far on the way I want to do it, they will work. It just takes a partnership between people with the same kind of ideas in mind. That's it. It's just me finding those people who are genuinely about what it is I'm about before I go in business with them. Because if they're not about what I'm about, then there's no point. Do I want money? Of course. Do I want a whole hell of a lot of money? No. Not at first. I'm looking for the business to sustain itself. at the same time it's sustaining itself, it's sustaining the community from which it is based in some way, whether it be free educational supplies for children or elderly services like mowing their lawns for them, or trash pickup in abandoned lots, to beautification of shitty areas. Real boots on the ground, quality of life improving things. Stuff like that. Clothing drive, free clothing. Or heavily discounted. And not some fucking secondhand shit either, no. Brand new shit. Brand new. Decent clothing. Parents don't have to choose between clothing their children or feeding them. You know what I'm saying? And if a parent doesn't have to choose between the two, and they can do both, and you're the business that's making it possible for them to do both, why wouldn't they do business with you? Why wouldn't they? They'd be foolish. And yes, people are foolish, but if you give them something tangible to hold on to, if you give them something that's life-changing in even the smallest way, they will come to you. But your heart has to be in it. And you have to be willing to not make a whole hell of a lot of money. Just enough. I don't want to be rich. Not my dream at all. I want to own my own businesses. Yes, but to be rich, I don't think I would know what to do with it. It'd be boring to me, because then I wouldn't really have to earn things. It's hard for me to explain. Like, if somebody gave me $1 million right now, I would probably give most of it away and keep just enough to start businesses and pay off bills and shit. And maybe buy a house. And that's probably it. And not some big ass house either. And then that would be it. And then I'll probably give the rest of it away. I don't want this shit. Because I don't live my life for money. I work for it so I can use it to fund the things that I want to do. But if I lived in a place or in a world where you traded everything, like if I could trade things for, trade things, not thongs, trade things for electric power and internet service, then I would. And if I had those two things and I could trade for everything else that I wanted, well, or make or produce the other things that I wanted, what would I really need money for? What would be the purpose of it? It'd be useless. My sense of what would bring me ultimate fulfillment would be to produce all the things that I use most myself. Then I wouldn't have to spend any money, so I wouldn't need any money. You feel what I'm saying? What would be the purpose of it? Just to have it as a bragging right? I have thousands of dollars. Okay, who cares? I don't care. The only thing I would want to do differently, if I had the money to do it, would be to travel different places. And not even just typical, I want to travel around the world. I don't want to travel around the world. I want to travel around this country. I want to see different parts of this country. Because there's a lot about this country I don't know. And it's got plenty of culture and shit that I'm not used to. You might think that, or maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm not going to assume to know what anybody thinks. So here's the thing. I think that there are a lot of people who probably see, who aren't American, obviously, that we're probably just all the same. And we're not all the same. There's so much culture in this country. There's so many different types of culture. I mean, shit, for lack of a better fucking word, culture. Every region has its own culture. Every county has its own culture. Even every little city has its own culture. Neighborhoods have their own culture. It's a vast fucking tapestry of just different shit right here in my borders. What do I need to fly around for? Yeah, tropical island. Do I want to see one someday? Yeah, of course I would. Is it on the top of the list of things that I want to see in this country? I mean, or outside in this world or in life? No. I want to see a volcano. I can do that here in the United States of America. And I don't even have to fly to Hawaii to do that. It's one fucking Washington. Is it dormant? Yes. And that's good. Because I don't want to see a live volcano. What the fuck do I want to see a live volcano for? So it can erupt and spill lava on me? Oh, you don't want to experience life. I love when people say stuff like that. Like, oh, you're afraid to have life experiences. No. I'm not afraid to have life experiences. There are certain life experiences that I just don't care for. Jumping out of an airplane or riding in a hot air balloon or fucking speeding down the side of a mountain on a paraglider are not anything that I want to try. I don't like being scared to death. And that would scare me to death. I'm not going to enjoy that. Why would I enjoy that? Oh, God. No. And I don't want to get over it. What do I need to get over it for? When do I ever plan on jumping out of an airplane? When is that going to be something? I'm not going to put myself in that kind of a situation. You get what I'm saying? Where I'm going to have to jump out of a plane with a parachute. If I'm in a plane, I know that if it crashes, I'm dead. Simple as that. I'm not jumping out of the plane. It's not going to help me. You're going to be flying at like 30,000 fucking miles per hour. Right into the ground. But before that, you have too much time to think about it. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's like 15 seconds, that's enough time to think. I'm about to die. Splat. And this is the last thought in your mind. Falling through the fucking air. No, I'm straight. So I'm not putting myself in any situation where I may have to actually parachute and slowly float to the earth, thinking of all the different things that could go wrong. Does that make me a chicken? No, it doesn't. Because it doesn't make you a chicken if you don't want to, let's say, eat a hot pepper because you're afraid of the fact that it's going to burn your fucking mouth. Doesn't make you a chicken. That just means I know that I don't want this experience. Period. But, you know, I don't even know why I started talking about that. You know, we've talked about, you know, the constant high of being happy about life. You know, addiction. I believe that's what we were talking about. So, yeah, like adrenaline junkies, right? You know, another chemical in the body that people like to induce on themselves. If they could sell it, they probably would. And I'd buy it. Then I would stop buying it. Because then I would realize that I'm going to end up addicted to it. Who wouldn't be addicted to fucking, like, superhuman strength for, like, a few minutes and shit? You know, yeah, people, like, shooting up adrenaline and, like, robbing banks and shit, like, breaking the doors off the fucking bank. It'd be, like, shots of Incredible Hulk strength. And just, you know, stuff that they do. Craziness. Things that go through my mind. Which is why I don't need to watch the news and shit like that. Or movies and things. I just like imagine shit and just sit here and go inside my head and like sit down on like this big giant couch that I have inside my head and watch the TV in my brain and be like, oh, you slay me. Well, anyway, folks, it was nice talking to y'all for, you know, the past hour and a half and shit, just about nothing and everything and whatever. So, y'all take care of yourselves. Have a great Sunday. Hopefully I'll have a great Sunday when this package from Amazon gets here with the screen from my fucking phone and I can fix it and finally use it. Call my mom and say, hey, Mom, how you doing? I love you. How's Dad? You know, love my mom and dad. Love my mom and dad. Great fucking people, two of them. You know, they put up with a lot of shit. Just for me alone. You know, I can't even imagine what it must be like to be the parents of me, my brother, and my sister. Because I wouldn't want to be my parent. Like, I wouldn't want to be my parent. I'd be so mad at me sometimes. I'd be smacking the shit out of me. Like, would you stop doing stuff? Jeez. Sit down. Don't make... I'm going to tie you down. I'm going to put you in a fucking box somewhere. And I wouldn't really do that. But I would threaten me with that. And then, you know, me, knowing me, I wouldn't be like, yeah, right, you're not going to fucking do that shit. And I would try you. I was constantly doing that shit. Like, constantly. Mom and dad, how did y'all do it? Right? Like, you guys must have the patience of elephants because there's just no way, no way, no way in the world I could have dealt with me. I know I couldn't have. I would have probably strangled me like, "You fucking little son of a bitch. God damn it. Stop. Just stop it. Stop. Stop. Stop." I would have stopped moving around in the bed and shit and realized that I had killed me, and I would have to bury me somewhere and tell people that, he ran away from home and I don't know where he ran. Or I'd have to, like, go on a trip with him looking as if he's alive. Or, now I'm premeditating it. That would be bad. But I would probably premeditate killing me if I was my parent, and looking back, being sober and clear-minded and shit now, I can look back at all those things that I did to my parents and say, Mom and Dad, thank you for not killing me. Thank you. Because I would have. I know I would have. I would have planned a trip, somewhere dangerous that you are expected to take your kids. And that bad things could happen, potentially, to them, And me, I would have made sure it did. I would have made sure it did. But it would have been just my luck, you know what I'm saying? It would have been just my luck that I wouldn't have, like, died. Because, I never follow directions or do what they want. And see, it's hard to plan a trap for a kid that doesn't always do what you think they're going to do, right? Like they normally would do some shit. And that day that you want them to normally do the shit that they normally do, they do some different shit. And that's normal for them to just do some randomly different shit. But you don't expect them to do this randomly different shit on the day that you want to do what the fuck you want to do. You want them to do what they normally do, which is what they normally do, which is whatever the fuck they feel like doing, right? And you can't plan for that. So your plan goes wrong, right? You end up fucking yourself up. Maybe you read, like, some shit to, like, fall down on them, right? And you think it's gonna kill them, but it doesn't. It just injures them or some shit. You're just sitting there, mad. Right? Mad. Because now you gotta wonder if this kid is gonna realize that you tried to fucking kill him or not, right? And, like, if he's gonna... You're never gonna know. That's the whole thing, because if he knows that you tried to kill him, well, he's not gonna fucking tell you, right? He's not gonna fucking tell you. He's gonna keep it to himself. He's gonna have you thinking he doesn't know, but you're always gonna question it. So even if you don't think he knows, you're always gonna think in the back of your mind, well, he might know. And if he knows, well, what is he thinking about doing? Is he gonna do something? Is he not going to do something? And that's going to be in your mind. You're going to be thinking about that shit every time you see him. Hey, Dad. Hey, what? How you doing? What's the matter with you? Nothing. What's wrong with you? Nothing at all, Dad. Everything's fine. Are you sure you're okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Fine. You get those stitches out next week, right? Yeah, that's what they said. Funny how that thing just fell. Yeah, it is funny how that thing just fell. What are you saying? I didn't say anything. I just said funny how it fell, Dad. Jesus Christ, what the fuck is wrong with you? Nothing. What's wrong with you asking me all these questions about how the fuck they fell? I didn't ask you how it fell. I said funny how it fell. Dad. And that's the question. This is the tension that would happen between you and your child that you tried to murder. That's what would happen. That's what would happen. You know what I'm saying? That's like if I had to try to murder any of my children, right? And they didn't die. And I have 4 of them. Could you imagine, like, right? They get together, you know what I'm saying? And they're, like, plotting my demise. Plotting it. Because, see, me being the random person I am, they may not be able to come up with a plan alone, but all 4 of them together, each having some section of my brain. Yeah. They would come up with the ultimate plan. They would booby trap all aspects of my life. All of them. Right? All of them. And they would get me when I least expect it. They would wait until I think everything is all good, right? That's why they won't all come together at one time. Like, they think I'm plotting against them because they are plotting against me, right? They think that I know that there's a plot, right? And you guys are probably like, oh, that's fucked up. You tried to kill all your kids? No, no. I didn't try to kill any of my children. None of them. None of them. But I have the assumption that they're all plotting against me. No, I'm just joking. I don't feel like that. My kids love me. I love my kids. I couldn't imagine like what it would be like to be a parent who has to worry about the potential of their children harming them because they were mean to them or treated them badly or were just fucked up to them or they just have fucked up kids, right? Like my kids aren't fucked up. They don't all do, well, one of them doesn't do exactly what I think he should do, but it's his life, so I have to let go of that wanting for him what I want for him, and he doesn't want that for him. Like, he wants what he wants, and I have to accept that, you know what I'm saying? I just hope it's better than what he's been doing, because what he's been doing is just not good enough. Period. I don't give a fuck who you are. And I've been that dude. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm speaking from some horse of superiority, thinking that, hey, I know better because, whatever. I've been where he's at, so I know that he can do better than that. You know what I'm saying? I know that. He just has to want to do better than that, But he has to want to, You can't make a person want to do something if they don't want to do it. Nope, you can't. They say you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, but I beg to differ. You can make it drink if you want to. You can make it drink. You know how you make it drink? You starve it of water until you bring it to some fucking water, and it'll drink. It'll drink. It'll drink like it's never drank before. Because it'll need to drink. Now, if you lead a horse to water that's not thirsty, of course you can't make it drink. Why would it want to drink? It's not thirsty. So, to me, that saying is kind of stupid. But then, I overanalyze shit anyway, so, that could just be me. People are probably like, why don't you just take it for what it says? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Well, I just don't believe that. I'm not doing that. Shit. Now, I like the saying, let the cat out of the bag. Because, like, it's never in reference to something delicate, right? It's usually in reference to something delicate being disturbed most violently. Is the way I see it in my head when someone says, oh shit, the cat's out of the bag. I imagine whatever situation this cat is now about to disrupt. And I imagine a really angry cat being let out of a bag. Like, for instance, right? Let's say, you're at a wedding, right? And the bride and groom and the best man have a really sick secret, right? It's disgusting secret. Like, just disgusting. We're not going to get into detail on what the secret is, but let's just say there's a very disgusting secret between the wife, the husband, and the best man. And let's throw in the maid of honor, too. Just fucking make it even worse, right? Bow. And, like, it comes out at the wedding, and someone's like, in the audience, oh shit, now the cat's out of the bag, right? Boom! This would be the hilarious part of it, right? As soon as they say that, right? As soon as they say that. I wish you could see what's happening in my head right now. So, right, boom. As soon as they say that, a bag, like a burlap sack of cats, drops onto the fucking center of this whatever gathering, wedding and shit. and then you hear like this crescendo of meows, and not happy ones either, angry meows, because let's just assume that before this sack was dropped into the center of this wedding reception, right? That it was spun around most violently, like woo, and then tossed to the ground. Right? These cats are angry. They are angry. Oh, they're mad. Number one, they're not like friends with each other, so they've been beating the shit out of each other in this fucking bag for like hours, maybe even days, right? Maybe even days. But they're angry, right? And now they've been rocketed into this fucking wedding reception, right? Right after this person has said the cat's out of the bag and the secret about the bridegroom and the fucking goddamn best man and maid of honor has just been dropped, right? Like this bag of cats. And then the bag of cats busts open. And here's the crazy part, right? These fucking angry ass cats. Now you're thinking probably they're gonna be like normal, regular, everyday cats, right? Just regular cats walking around on all fours, just being cats. No, they're not like that. Okay, they're not like that. Not in my head. In my head, they're like Puss in Boots, right? But different cats, and they're not wearing puss hats and little swords and boots. They're just cats that are standing up, walking around like little people that are cats, right? Fluffy tail cats, and they jump. They jump out of this bag, right? They jump out of this bag, and they're mad. And there's like fucking 20 or 30 of them. And they start jumping out, just beating people's asses. Like slamming their heads into the fucking food place, busting bottles over people's heads and shit, fucking up the bride and the groom and the goddamn best man and the motherfucking maid of honor. I'm just talking about, like, the cats are savage people. They're savage people, right? Just savaging them. Just savaging them. Because, the cat's out the bag. And usually, like I said, when the cat gets out of the bag, and when you use that term is to say that something is about to fuck up, or something is fucked up, or has fucked up some shit that was otherwise going smoothly. And that's how I envision the cat, now being out of the bag when someone says that. Oh, man. And it's like that for certain sayings. And I can't remember all of them now. But, like, if you said a saying to me that's common, like fucked up beyond all recognition, when I think fucked up all beyond all recognition, whatever it is that someone's talking about, I see in a terrible way. Let's use this same wedding reception, right? The secret about the bride and groom comes out, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, now this person is like, oh God, this thing went from great to foobar. Foobar, you say? Foobar? Well, in my mind, I imagine it happening like this. This whole thing is going foobar. As soon as the word foobar comes out of its mouth, the whole entire scene smashes into a wall, like those crash test cars with the crash test dummies in them and shit. You know what I'm talking about? It was just like, and they show it in like slow motion as the car crumples in the fucking, crash test dummy's head is going towards this ever crumpling mass that is about to be part of the fucking brick wall or concrete wall that it's smacked into. And you're just like, wow, that would really be bad for a human to go through that shit. Well, imagine a room full of them going through something similar, except they're not in a car. They're just being slammed into this invisible wall. And it's invisible. So that, like, right, you have to imagine it, right? And this is how I imagine it, right? This is how I imagine foobar. Boom. You're on the opposite side of this transparent, impervious wall that they're being smashed into. So what you see at first is them, right, in the room. The whole entire scene and situation looks normal. And then foobar happens. And all of what you see is now compressed and smashed as it stands in the room into this transparent thing that you're seeing. And at that point becomes fucked up beyond all recognition because it's all smushed into each other. That's how I see fucked up beyond all recognition. Just to give you an idea of how, sometimes my mind works, right? It's very imaginative, very imaginative. I imagine things, a lot. A lot. But not things that don't exist, right? I just imagine things that I want to see visually, and I imagine them in my head. And it's easier for me to figure things out visually and like touching it and stuff than it is to just like read about some shit. Just words. Like, give me some diagrams. I don't need pictures. Diagrams. Plans. Sketches, even. Formulas, perhaps. Damn it. But yeah, I told you guys like fucking 15 minutes ago that I was leaving, and then I kept running my fucking mouth. It's been almost 2 hours. Almost 2 hours. It's just now 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's quiet as shit. Except for the wild insects that roam outside. And I'll tell you a story about that later, okay? In fact, I'll record it after I'm done doing this since I have nothing else better to do. Anyway, folks, you all have a great Sunday. Take care of yourselves. And thank you for joining me for another episode of Chillin with Omen. Which I don't think anybody did join. So if you watch this later, fuck you all for not joining. God damn it. No, I'm just playing. Who gets up this early on a Sunday unless they have something to do? Nobody.